All right. When you are adding fractions, adding or subtracting fractions, the same rule, you have to have a common denominator. What do 5 and 10 have in common? Well, I hope you see that they both have 10 in common, so this fraction doesn't have to change, but this one does. So I ask myself, 5 times what equals 10? Well, it's 5 times 2. So if I multiply it down there, I multiply it in the numerator as well. So my new fraction becomes 4 over 10 plus 3 over 10, which now equals 7 over 10. And I ask myself, can I simplify this answer? The answer is no. So this is my final answer right here. Let's do another one. All right. So my next fraction is, we're going to do another addition one, 3/4 plus 1/6. All right, so now I'm looking for common denominator again. What do 4 and 6 have in common? Well, they can both go into 24. So I ask myself, 4 times what equals 24? Well, it's 4 times 6. So if I multiply it down here, I have to multiply it up here. So that new fraction becomes 18 over 24. What about this one? 6 times what equals 24? That means I need to multiply by 4 because 6 times 4 equals 24. So my new fraction becomes this. So now all I have to do is add. My denominator stays the same. 18 plus 4 is 22. The very last thing I ask myself is, can this be reduced or simplified? Well, I can see that they can. They can both go into 2. 2 times what equals 22? The answer is 11. 2 times what equals 24? The answer is 12. I cannot reduce this any further, so that is my answer, 11/12. Now, let's look at some problems that are with subtraction. You're going to have the same rule. Let's see. 3/5 minus 3/10. I have the same exact rule. I have to find a common denominator. They can both go into 10. This fraction doesn't need to change. But I ask myself, 5 times what equals 10? It is 5 times 2. So 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 5 is 10. Minus, make sure you pay attention to your sign. And then I just subtract. 6 times 3 is 3 and 10ths. And I cannot simplify that any further. That's as far as I can go. Let's look at one more subtraction type problem. All right, 3/4 minus 7/12. Well, I need to get my common denominator. What do 4 and 12 both have in common? Well, they both have 12 in common. So 4 times what equals 12? So it's 9/12 minus 7/12. 9 minus 7 is 2. And I keep my 12. I hope you notice that I need to I can reduce this. 2 goes into 2 one time. 2 goes into 12 6 times. There's my answer. Now, you will be going into a little bit more complex adding and subtracting problems later on. For example, you might see something like this. 3/4 plus 1 1/2. But let's not go there yet. Let's make that our next lesson. Let's become very good at these types of problems first before we move on to something that's a bit more complex. And while I have this, let's solve it. Because the common denominator is 4, 3/4 plus 2/4 equals 5/4. Uh-oh, what do I do? I hope you know the answer to this because this is not finished. Until next time.